I want you to picture something for me for a second. Imagine you're playing a video game. Let's say it's a baseball management sim, or maybe just franchise mode in the show.
Okay.
And you decide to just mess with the settings. You turn stamina all the way up, you turn fatigue completely off, and then you simulate an entire season with just one starting pitcher.
I know exactly where you're going with this. You get numbers that just look like a glitch in the code.
Exactly. It looks like the game broke. You see a stat line that says, game is played, 100. Games started by this one guy, 60. Complete games, 36.
It sounds like a typo. Or like you're reading stats from the 1880s when guys were throwing underhand from 45 feet away.
Right, but it's not a typo. It's not a glitch. And it's definitely not from the 19th century. This actually happened in 1983. And that's what this deep dive is all about today. We are unpacking the career of a man who makes modern pitching workloads look like a light warm-up.
It's a genuinely fascinating story. We're looking at a player who lived his career under 3 different names across 2 different countries and managed to set records that are quite literally unbreakable. And I don't use that word lightly.
We're talking about the man born as Akio Matsubara, who became the champion Hiroaki Fukushi, and finally became the legendary and honestly tragic Jang Myeong-bu.
And the mission here is really to explore the cost of that greatness.
Yeah.
You have this pitcher who goes from being a journeyman in Japan to an absolute mythical figure in the early days of the Korean baseball organization, the KBO.
And he holds the record for the most wins in a season.
And paradoxically, the most losses.
Which just feels like a perfect metaphor for his entire career. The highest highs, the lowest lows.
It really is.
Hmm.
It's a story about endurance, about the physical limits of the human body, and about a very specific era of sports where pitch count wasn't even in the vocabulary.
So let's rewind. Before he was the Iron Man of the KBO, he started out in Japan. And his background is a bit complex right from the get-go, isn't it? He was born December 1950 in the Tottori Prefecture.
Right. And he started his career using the Japanese name Akio Matsubara. He was signed young, just 19 years old, by the Yomiuri Giants in 1970.
Now, for those of us who might not follow Japanese baseball history that closely, how big a deal are the Yomiuri Giants?
Oh, they're the pinnacle. Imagine like the New York Yankees combined with the Dallas Cowboys, but in Tokyo. They are the institution of Japanese baseball.
Wow.
So getting signed by them is a massive honor, but it's also incredibly difficult to actually break into the lineup because they always have the best talent money can buy.
So he's a teenager, signs with the biggest team in the country. Did he even play?
Barely. For 3 seasons, he was essentially a ghost. He was buried on the bench, pitching in practice, maybe getting some mop-up duty here and there. If the story ended there, he'd have just been a footnote.
A guy who had a cup of coffee with the Giants and then was gone.
Exactly. But he didn't disappear. He gets traded to the Nankai Hawks in 1973.
And this is the turning point.
This is where we start to see flashes of what he could actually do when someone finally gave him the ball.
So he goes from the bench to the mound. How did he do?
He finds his footing almost immediately. In his first year, 1973, he posts a 2.87 ERA.
Okay, let's unpack that for the non-baseball math people. ERA is earned run average. What does a 2.87 tell us?
It means for every 9 innings he pitched, he gave up less than 3 runs. In pro baseball, anything under 3.00 is excellent. It's elite.
So you're shutting down the other team.
You are.
Yeah.
And that was the 8th best mark in the whole Pacific League that year. So he proves he belongs.
Right.
And he even pitched in the Japan series that year. He actually took a loss in a game against his old team, the Giants, which must have stung a bit.
Oh, I bet.
But the trajectory was clear. By 1975, he's tying for the league lead with 4 shutouts.
A shutout is when you pitch the entire game and the other team doesn't score a single run, correct?
Not a single run. And doing that 4 times shows a level of dominance and stamina. But the real shift, the evolution into this workhorse identity that happens when he moves to the Hiroshima Toyo Carp in 1977.
The Carp. This is where the legend really starts to build.
It is. In 1978, still playing as Matsubara, he makes his first All-Star game. And he led the Central League with 12 complete games.
12 complete games. I want to pause on that because the context has just changed so much. In modern MLB, if a pitcher throws 2 or 3 complete games in a season, everyone goes crazy.
It's virtually unheard of now. Managers protect their assets. You go 6 innings, maybe 7.
And you're out.
And you hand it to the bullpen. Matsubara was finishing what he started 12 times. But, and here is a really crucial detail from the source, there was a warning sign.
A warning sign.
Yeah. While he had a solid ERA of 3.60, he also allowed 236 hits.
which was the most in the league.
The most. So what does that tell you?
It tells me he's getting hit a lot.
Exactly. It tells you he pitches to contact. He isn't blowing everyone away with, 100-mile-per-hour fastballs. He's staying in the game. He's absorbing hits. He's letting the defense work. And he's just keeping on pitching. He's bending, but not breaking.
A durable style, but it must put a lot of mileage on the arm.
A ton.
Okay, so that's 1978. Then 1979 comes around, and suddenly, Akio Matsubara is gone.
And Hiroaki Fukushi arrives.
He changes his registered name. Now, looking ahead to the Korean part of his career, is it safe to assume this was related to his heritage?
It's highly likely. He was what was known as a Zenichi Korean, an ethnic Korean living in Japan. And at that time, it was very common for players of Korean descent to use Japanese names to, avoid discrimination or just to fit in. The source material just notes the change happened in 79.
And under this new name, Fukushi, he enters what you could call his champion era.
The Hiroshima Toyo Carp had a massive year in 79. Huge. They won their first title in the team's 30-year history.
And Fukushi wasn't just along for the ride?
No, not at all. He was a hero.
Yeah.
He pitched in Game 4 of the Japan Series, went 1-0 with a 2.19 ERA. He was clutch.
And he kept it up. 1980 seems like another huge year.
It was. He wins 15 games, makes his second All-Star appearance. And, get this, he's the winning pitcher in Game 6 of the Japan Series to help the Carp repeat as champions.
So at this point, 1980, he is on top of the baseball world. Two-time champion, an all-star, a proven winner.
He is. He's reached the summit. But in sports, especially for pitchers who rely on volume and durability, the cliff can come very, very suddenly.
The cracks start showing in 1981.
They do. He makes the All-Star team again, which is a bit misleading because if you look at the underlying numbers, he led the Central League in walks, runs allowed, and earned runs allowed.
Ouch. So he's putting guys on base, and they're scoring.
Yeah, the durability is becoming a liability. He's eating innings, but they're bad innings.
Yep.
And then comes the crash, 1982.
The disaster season.
A 313 record, just a complete collapse. And just like that, the Hiroshima Toyo Carp, the team he helped win back-to-back titles, they release him.
It's brutal how fast that happens. 1 minute you're winning Game 6, and 2 years later you're out of a job.
Well, out of a job in Japan.
Yeah.
But this is where the story takes its most fascinating turn. He doesn't retire. He moves to a new frontier.
The KBO. The South Korean League.
Which was in its infancy then. It had just started in 1982, so this was 1983. It was a brand new league, and they were desperate for talent.
Yeah.
They were specifically looking for ethnic Koreans playing in Japan to come over and raise the standard of play.
So Fukushi moves over to play for a team with, I have to say, one of the greatest names in sports history.
The Sammy Superstars.
I love that name.
Yeah.
Sammy Superstars. It sounds like a cartoon team.
It really does. And he changes his name again. He adopts the name Jang Myeong-bu, which is a transliteration. He's embracing his identity.
Okay, so now we have Jang Myeong-bu. It's 1983. He's on the Sammy Superstars. And this is the season we need to really settle in on. Because looking at these numbers, I genuinely don't understand how his arm didn't just fall off by July.
This is the centerpiece of the legend. This is the glitch you mentioned at the start. So the Sammy Superstars played a 100-game season that year.
Okay, 100 games. Shorter than MLB, but still a full season.
Jang pitched in 60 of them.
60% of the games, he was on the mound more often than he wasn't.
It gets crazier. He didn't just pop in for an inning here and there. He threw 427 and 1/3 innings.
400. Wait, let's put that in perspective. What does a workhorse pitcher throw today?
Today, if a pitcher throws 200 innings, they are considered an absolute beast, a cyborg. The Cy Young winners are usually around 180 to 200.
So in 1983, Jang threw basically double what a modern ace throws.
Pretty much, yeah. He threw 2 full modern seasons in one summer. In fact, the pitcher who came in second place in the KBO that year, he was 192 innings behind Jang.
He threw almost 200 more innings than the next closest guy. That's just mind-boggling.
It is. He faced 1,712 batters in one season. Just imagine the mental focus for that.
And here's the thing. He wasn't just eating innings for a bad team, right? He was actually dominating.
The results were historic. He won 30 games.
30 wins in a 100-game season.
That is a league record that still stands. And honestly, unless they change the rules of baseball, nobody is ever breaking that. But here is the stat that just blows my mind. He completed 36 games.
36 complete games. So 36 times he has started a game and was still on the mound for the final out.
Correct. He also had 5 shutouts, struck out 220 batters, which was a record at the time. His ERA was 2.34.
He was a machine.
He was the entire team. And this is the part that really drives it home. The Sammy Superstars, they were not a great team. They won 52 games total that year.
52 wins.
Total. Jang had 30 wins and 6 saves.
Let me do the quick math.
Yeah.
30 plus 6. So he was directly involved in 36 of their 52 wins.
Yep. He accounted for more than 69% of the team's entire win total.
I've heard of putting the team on your back, but this is ridiculous. He was the team.
He won the Golden Glove Award that year, and rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at those numbers, 427 innings, 60 appearances, you have to ask, what is the cost?
Yeah, that level of exertion, the human body just isn't designed for that. The ligaments, the tendons, the shoulder, it has a limit.
Exactly. And this brings us to the decline, because you can't borrow that much against your future without paying the debt.
The bill comes due.
It does. The burnout was immediate and severe. The very next year, 1984, he still managed 13 victories, which, in a vacuum, is a decent season.
But the magic was gone.
It was. He suffered 20 losses.
So he went from winning 30 to losing 20.
The dominance is fading. He's getting hit hard. And then comes 1985. The pendulum swings all the way to the other side. He sets another league record.
Let me guess, most losses.
Most losses in a season. 25 losses. He won 11 games but lost 25.
So just to get this straight, he holds the KBO single-season records for most wins and most losses.
That's right. Most wins with 30, most losses with 25. It's a poetic, almost tragic kind of symmetry. He gave everything he had in 1983, and he spent the next 2 years paying for it.
And it ends pretty quietly after that, doesn't it?
It does. He moved to an expansion team, the Bingray Eagles, in 1986.
How'd that go?
Not well. He went 118.
1 win and 18 losses.
With an ERA close to 5. It was the end of the line.
It's such a steep drop-off, from the highest peak to the lowest valley in just 3 years.
It really highlights the volatile nature of his career. I mean, look at the summary. He's a 5-time Japan Series champion from his time with the Giants and the Carp, a hero in Japan. Then he goes to Korea, becomes this mythical figure who did the impossible, but destroyed himself doing it.
And he passed away relatively young, didn't he?
Yeah, he passed away on April 13th, 2005. He was only 54 years old.
That is young.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about the legacy he left behind.
It does. Because when we look back at sports history, we focus so much on efficiency now. On longevity, protecting the asset, pitch counts, innings limits. We treat players like investments.
Right. No one would ever let a player throw 400 innings today. The manager would be fired by June for negligence.
Exactly. And they should be. It destroys the arm. But Jang Myeong-bu's 1983 season stands as this monument to a completely different philosophy. It was the era of burn bright, regardless of the burnout that follows. He literally gave his arm for 1 season.
It's interesting you say that. It feels like we look at old stats and just see numbers, but there's a human story of pure exhaustion behind that 30-win record.
There is. And think about the mental side, too. Playing 60 games. The mental fortitude to go out there day after day, knowing your arm is heavy, knowing you're tired, knowing you're going to throw 120 pitches again. It's something we just don't see anymore.
It's true. We marvel at the physical stats, but the mental grind of facing 1,712 batters, it's intense.
And he wasn't just collecting stats. He dragged that team to relevance. Without him, the Sammy Superstars would have been a complete laughingstock.
So as we wrap this up, what does this all mean for us today? Why does this story from the 80s matter?
I think it matters because it defines the boundary of what is humanly possible. We often think records are made to be broken. Home runs, scoring titles. We assume someone someday will pass them because athletes get bigger, faster, stronger.
But not this one.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think Jang Myeong-bu is the eternal guardian of the unbreakable season. Unless the fundamental rules of baseball change, no one is ever getting 30 wins again. No one is throwing 36 complete games.
It's a record sealed in amber.
Precisely. It's a testament to a specific moment in time, a specific baseball culture, and a specific man who was willing to throw until he just couldn't lift his arm anymore.
It's a fascinating legacy for a man with 3 names: Akio Matsubara, the young prospect; Hiroaki Fukushi, the champion; and Jang Myeong-bu, the legend who broke the records and broke himself in the process.
A complex career for a complex figure, and a reminder that sports history is filled with these incredible anomalies.
And a reminder that sometimes the most unbelievable stats, the ones that look like glitches, are the ones that really happen. So I want to leave you with this thought. In a world where we optimize everything for long-term performance, have we lost something by not seeing athletes push themselves to the absolute breaking point like Jang did? Or are we just better off never seeing a 427-inning season ever again?
That is the question. The spectacle of the moment versus the longevity of a career.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll catch you on the next one.
Goodbye, everyone.